What is going on, everybody in YouTube land? I just want to, before I even get started into the video, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers, all my support system, every one of you out there that subscribe, like, and comment on these videos. Thank you so much. Your support is invaluable. I can't even put a value to it because it means that much to me. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I have a lot of great videos coming up, especially from this recent controversy between certain products. But I will go ahead and put my input on those products and do a couple head-to-heads. So that being said, let's move on. Guys, I've talked about it before in my recent videos. I've talked about it in my previous videos, and I mentioned how I was going to be transferring over from detailing out of my 2015 Toyota Corolla, and now I was going to be getting a hold of a truck. Well, over back and forth, having my mechanic in contact and looking at the vehicle. Guys, it's finally happened. It's finally come to that point. We are finally here, and I am so excited to announce to you the release of my 2003 Pontiac Aztek. Let's see if this is familiar to everybody. This is a Pontiac Aztek. Back in 2001 when it came out, it was literally rated the world's ugliest car, but for me, it is growing on me. Sorry, that was my Doug DeMuro impersonation. I love his channel. But guys, it's finally happened. I've got my truck. Guys, you can call it whatever you want. It could be considered the bear claw of vehicles because it's so big, it's so strong, but some may think it has no substance. But I tell you what, this is a comfortable drive, and I'm going to take you around it real quick. I'm going to show you the potential that this vehicle has and what I'm going to be doing to it. And so first off, let's go ahead and let's take you off here, and let's take a look around this thing. So we're looking right now at the front of it. The front's in decent condition. I mean, the paint it's got its chips. This is a 2003 with about 180,000 miles, guys. Normally I would not get a car with that high mileage, but because I had my mechanic take a look at it, and he mentioned that, look, you know, we can get some good use out of it. It's a used vehicle, so it's going to have its issues, but, you know, with that being said, you know, it's definitely going to hold up. You see the headlights need to be restored. We got to do some work there. There's a little bit of paint staining over here that probably will not be polished out. Remember, it's a 2003. So the clear coat, I don't know how much clear coat there is, but there's probably not a whole lot. But, you know, it's standard Pontiac Aztek. It's got the plastic bottom. When it first came out in 2001, this bottom part was all gray cowlings. It was all trim pieces. Well, it's still the same material, but now they actually painted it with the car paint, the same paint as the car. And so they just transferred that from this being gray or black to now the color of the vehicle. It's got standard damage. You know, I've got this right here that I got to work on here, but there's that, I can just pry that out. That actually is not too much. You see there's that right here. I'm going to take a heat gun probably here, heat it together, melt it together, sand it down, and get that taken care of. But the inside, yeah, it's worn. I'll get some nice seat covers here, but we'll do some great videos about cleaning leather, especially old sensitive leathers. Now, this leather in general is not sensitive, but because it's a 2003 and it's been worn, as you see, I mean, it's sensitive. It's tattered through here, so, you know, you have to be careful if you're trying to preserve it as much as possible. I got a little trash in here, guys. I literally just picked up the car, so I got to clean it out. I just put my detailing stuff in here. It's not presentable right now. You know, the door it is what it is, guys. I mean, it's an old, dirty car, but mechanically it holds up well. But I'll tell you what I'm excited about, actually, what I like. The headliner, if you can see, is actually intact. Yes, it's dirty, but that's nothing that my steamer cannot fix. The headliner is intact, and I'm really, really happy about that. It's got a CD player, cassette player. So for me, I mean, I'm old school. I still have the old school, what do you call it? The old school CDs and cassettes. I still listen to a ton of those. I know I'm weird, guys. I'm old school. Soon I'll turn on the vehicle so we can take a look at it, but just walking around the vehicle, I just went ahead and I put the seat down. A lot of people did reviews on this vehicle, and they didn't like how the seats did this for some reason. I don't know why they didn't like that. For me, it's perfect, because I put my vacuum cleaner on top of there, keep my gas tank in there for my generator. Of course, the door, more dirty door. We move around. This is awkward, and I don't know why they did this. I'm going to see if I can get a custom gas cap made for me where it has a key lock, because I mean, anybody can get into this. And during hurricane season, that can be a bit problematic over here, especially in desperate times. But this is probably what everyone wanted to see. It's not the most glamorous right now, but it is what it is. I've got 3 buckets here with some products in there. I'm going to build some racks all along the place. You see the speakers, which is pretty cool. I'm going to build some racks here so I can hang up my bottles and whatnot. I usually only carry 2 buckets with me. And then I keep my generator right here. But my generator, actually, thank God, when you get a generator, always purchase the warranty. I had a Craftsman inverter generator. It was made by Generac, and so I purchased the warranty. I bought it from Lowe's for $850. I got the $150 3-year warranty. It broke down on me after about 3 or 4 months, and then I just went and returned it. Before, when I had the Corolla, I did not want to put I did not want to put a big generator in there. And the one that I actually want, which I'm going to get next, is the Predator. The Harbor Freight Predator 3500 starting watts, whatever. It's going to be more powerful. It's going to weigh more, but it's fine because this vehicle can take it. But I got a 50-gallon water tank in here. Got some rags all over the place. I got my good old sucker drying towel back there. Got some towels all over the place. Of course, my hose that goes from my water tank. I got that cheap Ryobi pressure washer. This is how cheap it is. It actually broke on me. This part where the hose goes into to actually transfer the water from the tank into the actual pressure washer broke. So I'm going to probably get a Predator or some type of Harbor Freight pressure washer. I've heard good things about those. But you know, it's got the space I need. I think it has somewhere over like 100 cubic feet of space. I don't know. It's huge. It's cool because if I want to get lazy and sit down on the job, I got a cup holder here. I mean, this vehicle was made for tailgating. So for those of you who like to take some time and tailgate or just sit and, you know, you got a nice shade spot, or even if you're just overheating, you need to get some water in between jobs, or you're on the job, it's a tough job, and you know, whatever you need, this vehicle seems to be able to accommodate. Now there's a little space in here that I kind of like. I didn't understand the purpose for it at first, and I still don't know what the purpose is for it, but what I like is that I've got this here, which if you could see, I mean, I could use that for some good storage space. I could put some brushes in there. I can fit quite a few things in there. So the utility aspect of this vehicle is quite phenomenal. It's got the nice hatchback, you know, so that works out. I've got, as I said, there's speakers here, so if I want to listen to music, I can adjust it, and it actually all works. Funny enough, it actually all works. So here you see my water tank. I got my sucker drying towel. I just took the other middle seat and it just kind of propped forward here. I got my extension cable, and so that's good. I'm probably gonna just take this out because that's just extra weight for no reason, especially if I'm gonna get a generator that's gonna be a little bit heavier. It's about 100 pounds. You know, I'm gonna need more space and less weight in here, so got that. A dirty door, you know, like I said, it's a 2003. Previous owners probably never detailed it in their lives. I've got some towels here, a little bit of trash. Like I said, I'm still kind of organizing stuff, and I'm working in between organizing and trying to get everything taken care of. So, you know, we're just trying to make it go by as is. I got a couple accessories down there, some brushes. Here's something actually that I just picked up and I'm gonna do a review on soon. I got from the local detailer garage, Chemical Guys Distributors, the wheel gerbils. That I'm excited to use. We'll see how these work here. But, you know, got Formula 88 degrees, so always got to have that bead maker because I still use that quite a bit. And then just some old cheap soap for whatever. You never know when you need some cheap soap on hand. But guys, this is the Pontiac Aztek. I mean, another dirty door. I mean, the car's filthy, yes, but you know, as a detailer, and you might know exactly what I'm talking about. As a detailer, you know, when you see a dirty car, you see a challenge, you see an opportunity, and you see, and I like to say, so you see a miracle opportunity, not an obstacle. And so, you know, the objective is to get some work done. Now, here's where I have a couple questions for you guys, and for those who are still watching, you know, we're about 9 minutes in. I have a question for you. So, you know, obviously, I'll take you over here. There's some paint damage. The obvious paint damage. I mean, you can't expect a 2003 vehicle that's never really been taken care of to hold up, the integrity of the paint to hold up. So, you know, the first thing I noticed when I looked at this car was like, okay, this is rough, you know, that this is bad. But, you know, now that I think about it, and I've been thinking about it the past few days that I've been kind of going back and forth with this vehicle, you know, I want the vehicle to look as presentable as possible, but I purchased the car for very, very cheap. I bought it for $600 Could you believe that? $600 for this truck, and it works very well, thank God. But you know, I've got oxidation here. I've got some extreme paint damage, and that's not presentable. And of course, I want to present my company in the most appropriate fashion. Now, first thing I considered is, well, why don't I just take it to Mako, give them $300-400, and they paint it? Well, doing more research on Mako, they don't just paint your car for $300-400. You know, they're really not even going to touch it unless the body work is done. If they only paint the vehicle because it doesn't need body work, then yeah, $300-400. But you know, when you have stuff like this where sanding's needed, some body fillers probably needed, they're not going to touch it. And so I was thinking, you know, okay, what about Rust-Oleum paint jobs and going around with the spray can? Well, then I was like, you know what? No one ever gets that look. No one ever makes it look even. And if that's the case, and I'm going to put all that effort into it, why would I even do all that? You know, it just doesn't make any sense. That doesn't. There's some dings right here. That doesn't make sense in my world. Why would I do that? Why would I put in all this effort for it to look mediocre? And then I'm thinking, okay, well, it's a crossover, but it's still a truck. You know, it's still a truck. It's got space. It's got the utility capabilities. It's a V6 engine with 186 horsepower. It's not the most powerful, but it gets the job done. Okay, well, a lot of people when they paint their truck and they want to give it that mean, rugged look, they use bed liner. And so that got me thinking. I did some research. You know, you got Raptor out there, you got U-Pull, you got a couple different. You got Harbor Freight has a bed liner as well. And so I was thinking, why don't I do a two-tone bed liner? I was thinking maybe this bottom plastic here, I can go ahead and do black bed liner. This down here, just black bed liner. The bottom plastic parts where it normally would be that ugly, disgusting gray cowling or trim. You know, I can do this black, and up here I do like a dark gray or maybe even a light gray, but I think that light colors can kind of show some streaks a little bit easier than darker colors. So some type of gray, whether it's dark or light, something, and then black here, and the black here will match with the black here. And I'm thinking, you know, like we can do that. You know, of course the hood would be let's say we're doing like a dark gray, black, because this is where the plastic starts, and going around the vehicle where there is all this plastic trim and whatnot, we can go ahead and we can leave this all black with this all being gray. You know, this all here would be gray. Of course, I'm gonna probably need a new one of these. This is taped on, so to figure that out somehow. But you know, like the roof, obviously, if you can see that without too much glare, this would be gray. The roof is actually in good condition. The paint's actually quite well. I'm extremely and thoroughly surprised. But, you know, like I was thinking, why not, you know? I could just, you know, leave this as is here. I could even do the black bed liner here and take a little foam brush and just go ahead and work in here. And we can just paint this all the bed liner. And yeah, I was thinking about that, guys. Let me put this up so you can kind of see. This right here would be the gray, while this is the black, and this would go into the other bed liner. And you know, I'm thinking about that, guys. I'm thinking that could be a possibility, and if I really, really want to, I can just go ahead and do the gray bed liner with a brush in here. Now, of course, I'm thinking about working as easy as possible. See the Aztek with the K? That's cool. I saw when Doug DeMuro did his review on this vehicle, he put in here that you know, obviously Aztek is spelled wrong. It's supposed to be a C at the end, and so he put this thing on his review video. It said Aztek with a C equals ancient mind civilization, and then Aztek with a K equals ugly Pontiac. Well, I love my ugly Pontiac. I'm not a Pontiac fan. I've never been a GM fan. I've always been a Japanese vehicle person. I've grown up with Toyotas. I've always loved Toyotas. But you know what? Sometimes you just gotta make sacrifices for your company. And as hideous as a vehicle like this might be, I really think I can make it look really good. If I could drive this thing for a year. Okay, so what I did. And this is kind of a little bit of a personal story here, but I got some time, and this is one of those videos that, you know, it's more of my personal life here that we're getting into. At the beginning of 2017, my wife now, but her and I just started courting at that time. We were just courting. And see how the back look is pretty cool. I just don't like how you can see all the materials in the back. So wherever I go, I always back in so people can't look into my stuff. So if you have any suggestions about that, feel free to shoot your comments and suggestions over. But you know, in the beginning of 2017, her and I had been courting for about 3 months at that time. And we were going to a fair together, and she parked her vehicle in one spot, and I was already there waiting for her. And she was pulling onto a street, and there was a truck. I guess she did not see it, and the truck completely sideswiped her, pulled off the front bumper. It was a horrific accident. I was on the phone with her actually when the accident happened. It was the most, it was horrible, guys. And for those of you who have been in an accident, you know how that is, especially when it's out of nowhere. It's an accident. You don't see accidents really coming. That's why they call it an accident. And so that happened. And you know, basically her car got really damaged, and thankfully she wasn't hurt. The other car wasn't hurt. No one was hurt. Insurance went ahead and intervened and did everything they could do. Sorry, I keep on getting like half my face here. Insurance did everything that they could do, and with that being said, time went on. We never made a claim. We never did anything. We just left it as is. She was just driving around without a front bumper. She had a 2009 white Honda Civic, and she was one of those people driving a Civic without a front bumper. So she was one. You see those a lot, but she was one of them. And long story short, we never took care of it. We never did anything. We just left it as is. Well, finally, about 2-3 months ago, I was like, you know, we need to fix your car. I'm driving a 2015 Toyota Corolla. You don't want my car. She didn't want the car. I was willing to take her car, and we switched cars once we got married. She didn't want that. And so I said, you know, let's go ahead and let's just contact the insurance company. So they had an adjuster contacted, or we contacted the adjuster. They recommended us to a body shop. And basically after the appraisal, they said, look, the insurance company said, look, the value of the damage is way more than the value of the vehicle. If you want, just go ahead. We'll total the car. We'll write you a check for some money. Yada, 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 all that stuff. Well, we're like, well, what are we going to do without a car? We can't just do that. But then this came up. And this was a brother from the church. He had this vehicle. He'd been driving it for some time. It served him well. He took care of it, maintained it pretty well. And this just seemed to be at the appropriate timing. As soon as they said they wanted to total her car, you know, we had about 3,000 left on the car to owe, and they were going to pay us the value of the car, which is over $4,000. And so it made sense. After the deductible, we'd get money, we can get the truck, all the stuff, and it just seemed to work out right. It worked out well, and so that's the route that we took. And that being said, if I can get a year out of this car, because without having to make a payment on her car, now we only have one car payment to make, and our personal accounts do the car payment for the Corolla. But this is a business. I have my company, B.millionreflections, is an S corp, so this is a complete business expense, and so it just works out for the better. And so now we have one less car payment to make, which is a victory, as a total victory for everyone who's making car payments out there. And, you know, whatever I can do just to make this thing last me a year, if I can get 50,000 miles out of her, or excuse me, him, I've named him Bruce because of how mean he looks. And it was either Bruce or Hilda. So if any one of you is named Bruce or Hilda, I do apologize. I don't mean that to be rude. It's just first thing I thought of. But, you know, if I can do some bed liner and all that just to make it appropriate, like I said, you know, I'll heat this together, sand it, smooth it out, do some body filler, and we'll get that looking good. You know, I think I think I could get this thing looking all right. Mechanically, he works fine. Mechanically, the truck is sound and solid. It's an older car, so it's going to have any issues an older car would have, especially a GM. You know, Pontiac was made by GM. You know, there are some issues, but I haven't seen anything like that yet. There was a valve tick, which is common for those vehicles, but we just went ahead and tightened up the valve, and it was completely fine. And all the low-end vacuum suctions for all 6 cylinders just started working perfectly. And so, you know, it's not much of an issue. And so, you know, that's the Pontiac Aztek. Sorry for the long video, but this is more of a personal video here. You know, I'm excited, guys, and we're gonna do some great videos. Interior cleaning. I'm gonna bust out the steamer. We'll be cleaning up some of these carpets. Very soon, I'm gonna do a face-off I'm not really big into torture tests, only because I don't know, they don't really replicate true environment, although they're fun to do, fun to watch. I'm not a torture test guy. Um, I'm just going to go ahead and do a couple products here face to face on this hood right here. Um, and once I do the video, you will know exactly why I'm doing that, because there's a lot of, I don't know, it almost seems like there's some division happening within the detailing community between uh, some companies, and I just want to be a voice of reason. I want to first off start by saying that, marketing hype will always be there. People are always going to market their products how they want to market them. And the sad thing is that when marketing starts to happen, and when it's from big corporations, I'm sorry, there's going to be a lack of transparency. And so when you have underdogs or the smaller guys coming in, they have less to lose, and so they're more willing to be transparent. And so just by me saying that, if you're still watching, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. And so I want to go ahead and do a face-to-face on some of these products that a lot of division is happening, but for no reason, because if you just look at the facts speak for themselves. I'm that kind of person where, you can give me marketing hype jargon. I'm a salesman at heart. I've worked in sales before. I worked for a 3D International, not the international corporation, but I worked for a franchise off there, and so I had to sell, and I did quite well. I was never dishonest, but I understand, and I knew that there are ways of marketing things that they're just not right. And I'll talk about those more in the future, my experiences. But I want to talk about some of these products, and I want to kind of talk about, hey, I know that this company says this, I know this company says that, but when it comes down to it, this is what it really is. And so I will always be an underdog guy. I'll always support the underdog, especially if they're transparent. And they're willing to show and show facts. So that all being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. This is my 2003 Pontiac Aztek with 180,000 miles. Bruce is a beast, but Bruce is the man, and Bruce is going to help me out big time. So, guys, thank you so much for all your support. Please like, share, subscribe for more content. I know this isn't the most invigorating video, but it's just my personal life I'm taking in a little bit with. So guys, Million Reflections, luxury automotive detailing out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Thank you for all your love and support. Have a wonderful day. Take care. And the weather's getting warmer, so learn how to survive, guys. Appreciate it.